Um, Welcome to another episode of the Pepe Soup Talk Show, where we bring to the table movers and shakers in the African diaspora. Our special guest today is a West Philly native. He is one of two brothers who started a brewing company, the first Black-owned independent brewing company in Philadelphia. Liberian, originally from Liberia, and moved here to Philadelphia. And the way we actually got connected to these guys, it was through the Pennovation Center, which is where I work during the day. So shout out to Miranda Stevens. She connected us, and actually had a chance to try, one of the beverages, and it was incredible. So, I'm very excited to, hear the story. How two locals brewing company, came about. What sparked the idea, what the process has been, building the company to where it is, and where they see themselves going in the future. And hear the story of we got Richard here today. We got Mengistu here today. And Richard, unfortunately, couldn't be with us because he's moving. And so, not to be too long-winded, welcome to Pepe Soup Talk, Mengistu.
Yes, hey everyone. My name is Mengistu.
Mengistu, I'm sorry about that.
No, everyone. Everyone struggles with our names.
Yeah.
They call you Aki for short, but I'm sure it's much longer than
That's for sure. Aki and me. Yeah.
Aki, right?
Yeah.
People probably struggle with that. But I'm happy to be here. Thank you for giving us this platform to talk about our business and our journey. So Richard and I are brothers. We're 10 years apart. He's my younger brother. Both raised in West Philly, sort of in the neighborhood that they now call Cedar Park. He and I started brewing around 2016, so we're homebrewers originally, and we just did it as something to do. We've always loved beer, and we said, well, why don't we try making beer, see how, we'll try our hand at it, see how it would turn out. He went ahead, we talked about it for a while, neither of us moved on it, and then he eventually said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a homebrew kit, and he did it one day. He brewed, a batch of red ale, and it turned out pretty good. He did it a couple more times, and then he brought me in. He was like, listen, I think I got a little something here, and I tasted it, and I was like, wow, you actually made beer.
Yeah.
It tasted really good. And then we just started, we went all in, we started brewing regularly, every weekend, every other weekend, sometimes twice a day, weekend, sometimes, 2 to 4 times in a weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. A lot of it was at my house. And then things got kind of tight with my schedule. I'm married with 3 little kids. So, that takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But, we brewed at his place as well, and just let people try our beer out. People really enjoyed it. Friends and family tried it, and then we started, being invited to sampling events. People that had nonprofits or trying to get their businesses going. We made connections with different chefs, throughout the city, little mom and pop shops, and just started sampling our beer. It was well received by the community. A lot of people liked it, and at that point we were like, okay, I think we really are on something. Let's try to see if we can get a brewery open. And we did our research on breweries and made a lot of friends in the industry. But one thing we noticed is that, wasn't many faces like us in the industry. There aren't any Black-owned operated breweries in Philadelphia. And we were like, okay, this needs to change. This is not a good thing. But we also saw it as like a great opportunity for us to trailblaze and represent our community. We're 2 Black men from Philadelphia, raised in Philadelphia, but it goes even deeper than that. I was born in Liberia. We also have West Indian roots. My mom is Jamaican descent. She was born there, but her father was born in Jamaica. So we're like, this is pretty deep and this is pretty dope. Let's see what we can do with this. And I don't know if you've been in breweries. The vibe is cool. I like breweries. But it doesn't reflect our culture.
Yeah.
And I want, our people that do love beer and those that don't even think they like beer to come in and see, because there's so much more to beer than, a Coors Light or Corona, or a Guinness.
Right.
It's broad. So you come in and you can taste the different types of styles that you like, the different flavors. IPAs, tend to, you can do some free things with IPAs. The brown ale is like a medium roast coffee, nutty flavor. So it all depends on what your palate is like.
Okay.
So 2018 we created our LLC and just set out on the road to try to get this brewery open. So we're brewing and planning. We're still trying to secure financing, trying to secure location. Things are moving along, not as fast as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
I'm a bit impatient.
Yeah.
I want it like
you want a nap,
right?
5 minutes ago.
Right, yeah. But it's coming along. I mean, I'm really proud of where we are today.
Yeah.
To have our product out in the market, via a relationship that we established with FCM Hospitality, who owns a bunch of restaurants and watering homes, if you will, throughout the city. But they have Craft Hall at Delaware Avenue, on Delaware Avenue near the casino. And they have a brewing company called Mainstay.
Okay.
And that's what we brew out of. They're a 60-barrel system. So we brewed 60 barrels of both the hazy IPA, the prolific, the brown ale, the medium. And we're over 50% through our inventory.
Yeah.
And we brewed it back we released it in March. March 4th was our first release.
Wow.
So we're planning to brew another one, another batch, a couple more beers.
That's a great story.
Sorry,
it's good. It's good. We want all the information today. To hear the whole story. But to rewind a bit, I heard that the first thing he said when Richard came and he made beer. He said that he actually made beer. And so the question I had was, what was, it sounded like you got this was kind of like a new venture for you, like you guys drink beer and have always liked beer, but actually going and making it wasn't like you had done it before or done it informally. Like this was something that was completely new to you from what it sounds like. So can you talk about after that first time that he did it? Was it like, okay, was there always that intent to turn it into a business? Was it kind of something that you were just kind of, just kind of happened as it went along? And what was the mindset at that time?
I mean, I think Richard and I are pretty close. So we've always, once he became of age, obviously, we 10 years apart, we started drinking together a lot more. And we've always talked about, I've always been like, man, I would love to own a sports bar. I really like sports bars.
Yeah.
And so that's always been in the back of my mind.
Okay.
We both have our corporate jobs.
Yeah.
He works for a tech company, he does accounting. I have a finance background. I work for a financial services company doing, sort of data management. I'm in like the fintech space. But, excuse me, in the back of my mind, I've always been like, man, I'd love to own a sports bar. I'd love to bring bring Liberian cuisine into the sports bar. It's just, you don't see that.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
Our food is delicious.
Yeah.
I want to share it with everyone.
Yeah.
I want everyone to get a piece of that. So, in the back of our minds, it's always been like, we'd like to do something. And then we discovered, homebrewing. And, we knew that, you have to crawl before you can walk.
Right.
So we're like, all right, we've been sort of owning our skills, our craft through, the homebrewing process. So we took a deep dive, I'd say Richard is the brew master, so he's the mad scientist. I'm sort of like his assistant brewer, and I help out a lot more around like operations and like sort of the finance part of things. But I mean, I love the actual brewing process too, and I'm there a lot of times. But we just we decided to take a deep dive. You know, there was a lot of YouTubing things, a lot of Google searches, a lot of conversations with industry veterans, a lot of time in breweries, just talking with people. We've done collabs with other breweries. Love City Brewing was probably one of the first friends we made in the industry. They looked out for us a lot. And just, you know, sort of being mentored by different people and understanding, you know, how to get into this industry and sort of, you know, the potholes to avoid. We got a lot of good advice.
And can you talk a little bit about that, you know, the, let's say, transition from, you know, your I guess brewing and or making beer in your home to, you know, you mentioned how you have a location that you guys are operating out of right now. What that transition was like, or that process was like in terms of getting the, let's say, like the business acumen specifically for that space. You know, like what was that like? And
yeah, I mean, home. I would say that the advantage of being in an actual brewery versus home brewing is really just the speed in the process, right? You know, home brewing is very manual. It's a lot of waiting. And brewing in the production facility is also a lot of waiting too, but it's much faster. Quality control is better. You can control a lot of things from temperature to, you know, how the beer, you know, the boiling process, you know, transferring the beer from, you know, the mash to, you know, the fermentation tanks and all that stuff. It's a cleaner, easier process, and we're getting an even better quality product because of the quality controls that are in the brewery. But it's a lot of, you have to be there. You know, you have to be there, you have to experience it. And while we're ready and we know that this business is going to be very successful, you're constantly learning. I mean, I know industry veterans 10, 15, 20 years in that are still learning. And I mean, I think that's just with any industry, right? Any craft that, you know, you put your hands in, you're always learning. So we're new to this. We've learned a ton. We have a ton more to learn. This is what I'll say. To answer the question. Okay,
that's dope. And so now, because I know you said you started in 2016, and then you said 2018 is when you.
2018, we formed our LLC.
From the LLC.
It's time to take on this journey. We're ready. You know, we came up with the name Two Locals. Just, you know, when we created the LLC, you know, we were just like, so what are we gonna call ourselves? And we fumbled around a couple of names, and he was like, Two Locals. it was just random. I was like, I like that. You know, it's simple. We are two locals from Philly. I mean, the other thing is that, you know, Rich and I have discovered, and it's not a knock on, you know, the brewery owners. We haven't really met people that are from Philadelphia that have run a lot of these breweries. You know, maybe they're from like right outside of Philly or another state, but we were like, all right, we're two local guys, black guys, from West Philadelphia. You know, that's dope. No one else. We haven't met that. So
I mean, it's an anomaly, because I mean, I read that it's only 1% of brewers are only 1% of brewers are black, and so did you know that going into the venture? So this is all
we did. I mean, like I said, when we said okay, let's try to open up our own brewery. You know, we started doing the research, and Rich discovered that like 1% of the craft beer industry, you know, are operated by African Americans. That's a very small number. You know, and black people like beer. You know, like black people drink beer. Beer. You know? So it was shocking. I mean, when I think about, because you asked, you know, if I've been to any like breweries or I guess craft, you know, would it be craft house or craft shop? Craft halls.
I mean, typically it's based on like the environments. Typically, like you see them as white spaces. And so I think going into a venture like this and being able to almost shift the narrative, and you talk about even, you know, one day owning a place and having Liberian food integrated into it. That sounds like Afrofuturism or something.
I'm not gonna get it. I'll figure it out.
Oh no,
I got my, we got plenty of cooks in our family.
I mean, I can see it. I can see it.
I can absolutely see
Yeah.
it. That's the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
To have our food in there.
Yeah.
As well.
Word.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the beers themselves. I know you guys have the Nubian and then the Prolific.
Yeah, so the Nubian is a brown ale. You don't see a lot of brown ales in the market, but I honestly have never had a good brown ale.
And then ale, just for people tuned in, and I like to thank everyone who is tuned in today. We've got Mengistu.
Yeah.
Make sure I get it right. We got
It's all good.
Mengistu, two locals, Brewing Company. He's talking about his beers, and we're about to take a sip. And please, if you like what you hear, make sure that you click the like button below, and definitely post this on your social media to let others know that we are currently live. Go on with the.
Yeah, so the brown ale was one of the first beers that we brewed, and we perfected, and we absolutely love. I don't typically like brown ales, but I've had some bad ones, like really bad. And when Rich brewed this, I was like, wow, this is delicious. I love it. Matter of fact, in 2018, we won a homebrew competition. Got second place out of 12 homebrewers. And we got second place because it was like a 20 toss, point flip. But it's a really good beer. It's got, like a roasty, nutty, a medium roast coffee taste, with a little bit of a sweet finish at the end.
Okay.
But we love it. The name Nubian came from just, sort of paying homage to our women,
Yeah.
our lives, our mothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, grandmothers, girlfriends, wives.
Yeah.
So the can art is, a woman in African print. The head scarf, the neck wrap, and the top is like an African print. So that's the main. That's how we came up with the name Nubian.
Cool.
For the brown ale, and it's a brown colored beer as well. But it's delicious. People love it. People always tell us they really enjoy brown ales. There's not too many in the market.
Yeah.
There's not many that are good either. So the fact that there's not many in the market and people have been asking for brown ales, it's a hit. It's done really well. So I'm proud of this beer.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, what was the? How did you guys go about the packaging and even the cans that they're in? Like, how was it learning that whole process?
Like I said, we've been in breweries and we've seen this whole process, like the canning process. So breweries, they do one of two things. Either they outsource the canning process, or there's something called mobile canning.
Okay.
It's an actual business. So they'll have somebody come in and they're ready to can their beer, and that company will take care of it.
Oh wow.
They'll come in and do the canning for them.
Is that specifically just for beer? Or is that just if you're beverages in general?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'd imagine that they can other things.
Yeah.
Besides just, there's plenty of stuff that comes
Wow.
in cans.
Yeah.
Independent beverage companies, right? So I don't think it's just for beer. But yeah, so people either outsource to a mobile canning company or they buy their own canning machine, which is expensive. But with the pandemic and the fact that people had to pivot from a tap room model where people came in and sat down and drank beer from the draft, people had to say, well, we can't have customers in here. We start distributing. So a lot of small breweries who were just doing mobile canning went ahead and bought canning machines so that they can do it themselves. And
Got you.
I'm sure they made their money back over the last year because they've only been able to distribute. Just to go sales. So it pays for itself. But the can. I mean, it's funny because there's been a can shortage in the industry.
Really?
Yeah, because everyone's been canning.
Oh.
It became a real thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was talking to one brewery friend that was like, yeah, we're actually looking into China to get cans.
Wow.
But they got pretty bad.
It might be cheaper over in China, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's I guess is it that before mostly it would mostly be just in a cup, you know, when you go to a place and drink it. It's like people just weren't.
Glass.
Yeah, in the glass or
the
cup.
like the tulip
Yeah.
shaped glasses. I've become a bit of a snob. Like, I don't really like drinking out of the can. Whereas, you know, back in the day when I used to drink, and my mother-in-law would always, she's like a big Coors Light drinker. And we're actually trying to get her off of Coors and drink better beer. But that's her beer. But she would always put it in a glass. And I'm like, why are you putting it in a glass? Why are you putting beer in a glass?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, maybe I was wet behind the ears back then. But, you know, I probably in the last few years I started drinking out of a glass.
Okay.
I don't want to drink beer out of a can.
Yeah.
Like, I need my beer in a glass. So yeah, when you're in a brewery, it's out of a glass. You know, straight from the draft.
Yeah.
You know, so that means that, you know, it's fresh from the tank. You know, like it's not going through a canning process and putting the top on, pressurizing it, everything.
Gotcha.
So the beer's still good in the can, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had great beer, but people love breweries because you're getting it fresh out of the tank.
And especially, I guess, if you have like maybe like a refined palate too, like you could really taste that difference too.
Exactly.
Now well, first of all, is it okay if we try these beers right now? You know.
I'm sorry, I should have brought glasses and I didn't.
No, it's all.
I'd love your audience to see the beer,
So
the color, but
I was trying to, come on, hold it up. So this the Nubian.
that's the new
right
beer.
now. Yeah.
You know, with our African queen.
Okay.
On the print.
Okay. So we can go with this one first. Okay, so I taste like you mentioned like this has like more fruity.
No, that one is like a nuttier.
The nuttier taste.
Like medium roast coffee.
Okay.
Taste and it's like a slightly sweet finish at the end.
Okay.
Mean, depending on your palate, like everyone.
Well, my palate isn't that refined, so you gonna have to educate me on this.
I mean, everyone tastes something slightly different. It just depends on your palate. And how it lands on your palate. I mean, some beers, depending on how much of a specific ingredient that you put in there.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like a fruitier beer and you want like pineapple or citrusy taste. You know, it all depends.
Gotcha.
It also depends on the type of hops that you put in there.
Gotcha.
Hops that are, give you like different types of fruit.
Yeah.
Fruit taste.
Yeah.
So it all depends. But this one's for sure. It's like a medium roast.
Medium roast.
Like
Okay.
roasty coffee. But sweet, maybe like raisins at the end. Some people have said like a bready sort of taste to it too. So,
are you able to tell us a little bit about the brewing process and what that looks like? I know you said that Richard he's mad scientist. I know he's like kind of he's really like in the maybe that creation process.
So that's
okay.
He's going to be running.
Okay.
The actual brewing process.
Okay.
Once we get all space.
Gotcha.
He's the man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
How much he's learned, how much he knows.
Yeah.
About brewing.
Yeah.
So,
Word.
But I mean, the process is, it's kind of like cooking. I mean, the way we cook our soups, right?
Yeah.
Like, you boil, you put, water and all your ingredients in your meat.
Yeah.
All your scotch bonnet peppers and all that in, and you let it boil for hour and a half till the meat is done. Take it out, you fry your greens.
Yeah.
Your cassava, whatever
Yeah.
you want to make, and then put everything back in together and let it cook. But yeah, I mean the process. You get your malts and your grains, and there's a boiling process that happens in what's called a mash tun. Actually, I should probably rewind and go back a little further. Your grains need to be milled, so there's a milling machine.
Okay.
So the grains are. You've seen big bags of rice that
you
send back home sometimes.
Yeah.
So the grains come in, these huge, bags, and you gotta pour them into the milling machine.
Yeah.
I mean, some breweries are a bit different. There's breweries where the grains are already in, this huge tank outside the brewery. So that milling process is sort of already automated a bit. But typically the grains are in huge bags. They've got a mill, and then it pushes it into the actual mash tun where, the cooking process happens.
Yeah.
The boiling process happens. And,
Okay.
So as the grains are filling in the tank, water's also filling in the tank as well. So you got the water and the grains coming in together. It's getting mashed and it's twirling around. There's a whirlpool process that happens as well to spin the beer around.
Yeah.
You let it boil and cook.
Yeah.
And what you get, the result of those grains cooking is the wort. It's called the wort, and that's the beer. Right? So you sort of drain it out, and the grains remain, and what you take out of the grains is the wort.
Gotcha.
It has to eventually be transferred to a fermentation tank.
Yeah.
With hops, and it depends, right? Like some people put the hops in during the whirlpool process.
Yeah.
While it's in the mash, and then some people just directly put the hops into the fermentation tank.
Gotcha.
Whichever step you put the hops in will be a different sort of style and flavor of the beer. It could be hoppy or less hoppy depending on the stage in which you put the hops in.
Gotcha.
But once it goes in fermentation tanks, you put the yeast in,
Okay.
and then all the magic happens.
Right.
As the yeast and the wort goes together, typically a week, 2 weeks, depending on the style of beer. Ales probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
For the beer to be ready in the tank. Pilsners, lagers, anywhere from a month and a half,
Yeah.
maybe even 8 weeks. Stouts, you can barrel age them.
Okay.
So you can make the stout, transfer it to a barrel,
Yeah.
and you'd be in there for 6 months. But it's the waiting process is what it is.
It takes time.
It takes time. But a lot of times people taste the wort before they transfer it to fermentation tanks, and you can taste. You can sort of taste it and say, okay, a couple more weeks, I can sort of imagine how it's going to taste once it's been sitting for a while.
Gotcha.
So I've had wort, beer wort that's tasted delicious. Wow, another week, 2 weeks, it's going to be amazing.
Wow.
So you can sort of taste it first, but then you can throughout the fermenting process, sometimes and that's the cool thing. Like our process, we have buckets, pails that we put the beer in to ferment at a certain temperature. We avoid opening those buckets, so we can't even taste the beer to say, okay, it's been a week.
Yeah.
Okay, it tastes pretty good. Maybe another few days, another week.
Yeah.
In a brewery, the big, huge fermentation tanks, they have spouts, and you can taste the beer.
Yeah.
After a week, and be like, okay, this is pretty good. What we can have, all right, tastes even better. You can do that. That's the cool thing about having your own production facility.
Yeah.
You can do so many things. It allows you to be more versatile in what you want to do with the beer.
Yeah.
And what you can do. Homebrewing is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It sounds like, as you explain it and you talk about all these different steps and thinking about this being done at a home, it doesn't sound easy. It doesn't sound easy. It's a matter of putting a couple of ingredients together, and then you got beer. You got the waiting time that can be weeks long, and you got machines or equipment that you need that's part of it.
Right.
So
we just have little pieces of stuff to make the beer at home.
Yeah.
It's a makeshift.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it teaches you a lot about the process, so that when you get in a brewery, it's like, okay, this is the machine for this.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of what I had at home. But this is like the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man.
And so now, so you guys are currently making the beer at home.
Right now we're not. We haven't made beer at home in a while.
Okay. You make it out of the location.
Yeah, we brewed once.
Okay.
At at Mainstay.
Okay.
Well, we do twice at Mainstay, one time for the newbie and one time for the prolific. But we're in discussions for our next round. Because we wanted to at least sell through at least 50%.
Yeah.
Sort of what the run rate was.
Yeah.
For beer sales, and it's going really well. We actually just started doing farmers markets, and it looks like beer sells really well at farmers markets.
Okay.
So we sold a lot of beer, and with that expectation that we can sell a lot of beer at farmers market, we think we're going to be able to accelerate. The burn rate for our inventory. So we're in discussion for our next round of beers, which we're going to make another prolific.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how well you know the industry, but the craft brewers love hazy IPAs. Just IPAs.
I see.
Like, you can't be in the brewing industry and not have an IPA.
I'm always hearing about IPAs.
That's what people love.
But
I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Most of the beers I buy are IPAs, and
Yeah.
I'll throw in, a stout here and there, or.
And so now the prolific is the IPA.
Yes, the prolific is the IPA.
Maybe we just put this up to the camera for.
The hazy. It's a hazy IPA.
Okay.
So we're gonna make another one of these.
Yeah.
And then we're also gonna make a Belgian wit beer.
Okay.
Which is a delicious beer, a very summery beer.
Okay.
So the timing is perfect.
And the prolific, that was inspired by Nipsey Hussle.
The name was sort of shout out
the name,
to Nipsey, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
The name was based off of Nipsey's use of the word prolific.
That's cool to hear because I mentioned that I did have a chance to try the prolific before and actually thought about Nipsey when I drank it, and I didn't even know that was the name was inspired by it.
Shout out to Nipsey. But we call it prolific because of the amount of oats and wheats and sort of the hops that we put in there. It's a lot. It's deep and it's rich.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We've heard from a lot of people that are like, hey, I don't even like IPAs, but I like the prolific a lot. So it's nice. And we heard that when we homebrewed the prolific. A couple of my friends who are more like Pilsner and lager drinkers, Belgian wheat beer drinkers, are like, oh, this is really good. I don't really like prolific. I mean, or hazy IPAs. I had a friend who doesn't really like beer who drank it and was like, oh,
this is different.
I can drink this, But that's what I like about beer, and that's what we're trying to bring to our community. Look, this is something else.
Right.
Not to drink the garbage that's in the corner stores. Try this instead. And it's I call it farm to table, if you will. I like farm to table like a new thing.
Okay.
With food, people want
locally sourced and
local farms, things like that. I mean, I kind of call beer the same thing, craft beer, because a lot of times you try to locally source ingredients that go in, right? If you're making, a stout, you're using coffee, plenty of coffee producers, you can locally source that as well. The ingredients, the grains, the malts, the yeast, that all can be locally sourced. So, stop drinking the corporates that are mass produced. Drink local. Drink local and support local businesses. This is a thing. It's a real thing.
A lot more heart that goes into it, right? And now with you guys selling it, so you sell it out of the locations, and you mentioned farmers markets. It's almost like in a grassroots way. Now
we are straight up grassroots.
But then do you also sell it online too?
So we have a website. twolocalsbrewing.com.
Okay.
So you can go online. The way the process works for sales is people like individual sales. People go online. They put in their order and they pick up from craft. We've changed it. Before it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fridays 4 to 7, Saturday, Sunday 2 to 6. People pick up their beer anytime. We've switched it up a bit. So now we're offering delivery. But delivery need to be in the day before. Right? So Monday through Thursday we'll deliver on Friday. Friday delivery, Friday orders will deliver on Saturday.
Got
Saturday
you.
orders will deliver on Sunday.
Got you.
Or you could just say when you want the delivery, but it
Yeah.
has to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and
Okay.
it has to be during those windows.
Okay.
Those time slots. And people can pick their time slots. Pickups, we're only doing pickups at specified times.
Yeah.
Before we'd sit at craft home, we realized we were wasting our time. You know, people can also come in and buy the beer while we're there. But
Okay.
it's like, sometimes a lot of people come in, like we do crazy sales, and
Yeah.
other times no one will come in. Or people will order the beer and say they'll pick it up on Friday, and
Yeah.
it's like 2 weeks later they come pick up the beer. It's like, appreciate the money, but I want to pick up the beer too.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right.
So now we're like, hey, you put in an order, pick the time you're going to come pick it up. If you don't come at that time and we're gone,
Yeah.
you gotta wait till the next day. You know, pick it up. So we're trying to have some real processes.
Got you. So,
people can get their beer.
so now I know both of you work full time too, right? How has it been building this company? I guess you would, call this your 5 to 9. Like, how has it been building this company alongside the fact that, you guys also have full-time jobs? Like, I know it's, a lot of people, when it comes to building a company, when it comes to entrepreneurship, you hear stories of people just kind of jumping in and into the deep end. But the more practical way of kind of building a business is kind of the way you're going about it. Like, can you talk a little bit about maybe the systems that you've learning that you need to put into place? Because you even mentioned how you've been at Craft Hall the whole day, and then people don't come pick up their beer, and so I imagine there's some sort of balancing act that you need to had to perfect, or you're working on perfecting.
I smile as you ask that question because Rich and I have been feeling it the last couple of weeks. Between the work, like I said, I'm married. And I have
3 kids.
3 kids, 10, 8, and 4. So 2 boys and a baby girl. And Rich, he's engaged. And he has his own career and things to do. So we have a 9 to 5, and we call this our 5 to 9. But it's I don't know if we're really balancing it, because I feel like we're just making it happen. However possible. If I have a window during the day, I'm free. I'm gonna make a delivery. I'm gonna call the lawyer. I'm gonna call somebody that wants to do something. The lab, and talking to the investor, talking to the bank. We're just making it happen. I mean, I've had scenarios where I'm rushing to finish dinner because I'm 6 o'clock. I got this call. I gotta go to this event. It is a balancing act. It's a lot. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to his fiance. For bearing with us and supporting us and helping us through it, and our family. Friends and family. But it's. I mean, I'm a bit risk averse, and Rich is very aggressive.
Okay.
So we balance each other
in that way.
In that way, where sometimes he's super aggressive, nah, we gotta chill. And sometimes he's like, nah, we gotta go for it. I'm like,
right.
So it's great that he's very aggressive, but he's so chill. And he receives
feedback
really, really well. And I think I'm pretty chill too, and I receive feedback pretty well. But risk averse, risk taker. There's definitely some balance. And we balance each other out.
That's dope. Man, there was this actually, just because just looking at the prolific Nipsey Hussle interview I watched, where he said that if you when you're trying to achieve something great, that you're always gonna feel like you're stretched thin, and so this feels very fitting for the moment. But
stretched very thin. But it's good, man. It's it's a dream, and we're gonna see it through. I was complaining to my wife how impatient I've been because we need these funds. To open up what we want. We
Yeah.
want our own two local space where he
Mm.
can come in
Mm.
and have a beer with his homies or his girl, whoever. You know, like there's so much that's in our minds.
Yeah.
You know, also in our business plan, but probably everything is in our business plan. There's
Yeah.
so many things we talk about
Right.
that we want to do in this space.
Yeah.
And I was complaining to my wife, like, yeah, this is nice. We got the beer out, but
Yeah.
I need my brewery. You know, she's like, babe, relax. You know, like appreciate what you and your brother have accomplished,
Yeah.
like where you are. Like, you know, you had a product out.
Yeah.
You're the first black
Yeah.
folks to do it
Yeah.
in Philadelphia. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're trailblazer.
Yeah.
That's
Like you've
huge.
already made
So,
history.
Yeah, so like, I
in
do
a
have
way.
to sit back and appreciate it, but I'm constantly beating myself up.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not enough. Like,
Yeah.
I want this, I want this, I
Yeah,
want that.
yeah.
Because I know when I see it,
Where it
and I
can
can
go,
feel
yeah.
it, I feel like we're so
Right
close.
there. Yeah.
And I just want it that bad.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, you gotta appreciate, you know, every step, you know, every crawl. Like I said, you gotta crawl before you can walk
Yeah.
before you can run. I feel like we're still crawling.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to stand up. Welcome to my brewery.
Yeah. You know, they say, you know, small businesses are the heart and soul of like the community, and but also sometimes can be overlooked when it comes to things like funding, right? And you know, we've been going through the pandemic, and 2020 we see like the PPP loans and these funds that actually did come in response to, I say, the George Floyd killing and all the racial tension. Were you guys able to take advantage of any of that? And then in general, how have you worked through the pandemic? You know, with the fact that I know you had like a brick and mortar location that you were working out of, or that you were utilizing. So how has Two Locals Brewing Company been affected by the pandemic, and what's sort of the strategy for as we move forward?
I mean, I'd say 3 weeks before the lockdown took effect, that last March of 2020,
Yeah.
we had started an Indiegogo campaign to raise funds that would go towards our brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And our plan was to do sort of a roadshow
Yeah.
of our beer, our
Yeah.
members. So like go out and sample it, which will help accelerate and push people to contribute.
Yeah.
And what Indiegogo Rewards is not like a Kickstarter where you're just like, hey, I'm trying to start this business or do this, you know, can you donate?
Right.
It's, you know, not all familiar with Indiegogo, but like, we basically copied another brewery, shout out to Crowns and Hops.
Okay.
Inglewood, they're black owned,
Okay.
operated, black men and black women.
Yeah.
You know, that are, you know, starting their own brewery or already started. But they did an Indiegogo campaign. Basically, you would attach a dollar amount. You know, say you want to contribute $25,
Yeah.
and you get like a Two Locals pen.
Okay.
And some stickers.
Okay.
Like $50, you get a glass.
Yeah.
Everything you get $25. $100, you get the shirt.
Mm.
Under that, right?
Yeah.
So you get the shirt, the glass, the
Yeah.
sticker. So, you know, you're actually getting something tangible.
Yeah.
It was cool, and we kicked it off. It was doing pretty well. We had raised like 10,000 in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But the pandemic hit,
Yeah.
and we couldn't really do much. And like, you know, people were getting laid off, hearing about deaths,
Yeah.
infection rate. There was so much unknown whether it was lockdown. You can't do a roadshow sampling.
Yeah.
So we shut it down.
Yeah.
We're like, this doesn't feel right. We're asking people for money,
Right.
and it's a mess right
Right.
now. It's like it just didn't feel right. So we shut it down and turned all the money. But it allowed us to sort of go back and re-strategize and sit back and sort of watch
Yeah.
how people were pivoting in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, people started canning more, right?
Mm.
Because before, a lot of breweries, small breweries, was just tap room.
Right.
Come in, drink a beer, hang out.
Right.
People couldn't do that, so it was like, all right, now we gotta sell.
So
beer.
selling. Yeah.
So we saw that change, just operationally how people handled it. It also allowed us to go back and sort of work on our craft a bit more, think about our operations, how we wanted to operate, spend more time with breweries, We were able to get in a lot more collabs.
Yeah.
We probably did like 4 collabs last year, 2020.
Okay.
That helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
Helped grow our following
Okay.
a lot. We did the Black is Beautiful beer, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it was basically
I've read about it.
It was a sort of fundraiser that was started by a black brewer at A Brewing Company in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Who basically said, obviously Black is Beautiful, with everything that was going on with the pandemic, George Floyd, he wanted to push a beer that was representative of, melanated people.
Yeah.
But the proceeds from the beer was going to go towards social justice organizations like Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
For us, we did 2 collabs with One City Brewing Wolf, Chimney Rustic Ale out of Hampton, New Jersey.
Okay.
Shout out to Dan. And we used the proceeds and donated to Philly Bail Fund as
Okay.
well as Black Lives Matter Philly.
Right.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Right? And we did that. We got a lot of press.
Yeah.
Like when we did the Love City, I think CBS came in and our followers went through.
Wow.
So that's, that was a gift and a curse. Right?
Yeah.
Like the pandemic shut things down for what our plans, but it put us on another path to sort of build our
Increasing the reach and
Right. We really 2020 we really built our brand.
Okay.
And 2021 obviously we're still building our brand.
Yeah.
But the goal is brick and mortar.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's what's next.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep selling this beer.
Okay.
Doing this contract brewing because it's great. It's great publicity. It's great for building the brand. It's great for people seeing and tasting the beer and saying, "This is a good beer."
Yeah.
I can't wait to go and sit down and drink with them. And we might not have had this opportunity
if it weren't for the pandemic.
And going back to your point about entrepreneurship and jumping into the deep end.
Yeah.
We might have jumped into the deep end had we raised $75,000 last year and secured financing and opened that brewery.
Yeah.
We might have jumped in the deep end.
Yeah.
We would have figured it out.
Right.
Because me and my brother are, resilient.
Yeah.
And, we're strong and prideful.
Yeah.
Men. But we would have jumped into the deep end. And I think this is giving us a chance to evaluate things a bit more. And just in this last year, we've learned so much about how we want to operate, from how, the beer is made to how we run the brewery and the type of people we want working for us. Bartenders and barmaids and, everyone. That's been firmed a bit.
And even, thinking about the canning and you've compared the process for making the beers to cooking a little bit. I know that something big is through 2020 with the pandemic has been the fact that a lot of restaurants shut down, but a lot of restaurants that have been able to continue thriving are those that had the mobile presence or where you're able to order food online. And even to the point where there are some restaurants I know have been more profitable from, their online presence than, when you go into to the establishment itself. And so thinking about that and even, maybe what the canning process, how that can really help with, when you open up that brewery and have that brick and mortar location that people are coming into, just ways of making sure that like on the things make sense financially as well. And so I imagine, like you said, the pandemic was really a gift and a curse for many companies, and it sounds like it was for yours too.
Yeah, I mean I gotta be honest, man. Like most breweries, like these smaller breweries, I can't speak for the big players.
Yeah.
Like the yards of the world.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still doing their thing, but I'm sure they've had some hiccups, and everyone's been affected. But the smaller breweries, I mean, to be honest with you, they're still able to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Because, I joke.
You can be more nimble. Like you can.
I joke with people. I say, when restaurants shut down, I'm like, all right, well, we'll cook our own food.
Right.
I mean, we cook a lot anyway. Like I love to cook in our house.
Okay.
I love to cook.
You make jollof?
Huh?
Jollof?
Jollof is a specialty, man. Not too many people can make good jollof rice. Is what I've learned. So I've never made it.
Okay.
Our older brother lives in Cali.
Yeah.
He does it pretty well.
Okay.
But I don't know too many people
that can really
like
do it right.
Crush it, you know. So I haven't touched Jollof rice, but
okay.
I do everything else. But yeah, I was like, people can cook their own food, but people can't make their own beer.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's real.
So they're still doing
that's
well.
Real.
You know, they're still doing well. Unfortunately, for restaurants, and I'm sorry. I love to eat and I love going out to restaurants. That's the truth.
Right.
Like, restaurants shut down.
People are picking up.
I don't make my own food.
Right.
So we got to eat.
Yeah.
But you can't make your own beer or alcohol. So,
right.
That's why I thought it was silly when like state schools shut down. I was like, what are you doing? People eat alcohol. It's hard out here. You're missing out on that tax revenue. That's the thing, man. So they're still doing good. I mean, they're not, they're missing their tap room, but they got their cans out. So
got you. And so now, I know you've had on your mind. You've been mentioning it a couple of times. That next step for you is the actually opening up a brewery. Where are you? Where's the company in that planning process, or what is that looking like right now? And when do you hope to do that? I know you say you've been impatient about things, but
Yeah, I mean, if we had the funds today, we could kick off, building out the brewery. Probably like a month.
Okay.
So it takes like a year probably.
Okay.
9 months to a year.
Okay.
From the time you break ground. And it depends on the brewery. Like it depends on what you want in the brewery, how you want it to look, what that space is that you're getting your hands on. And if it's ready. Like do you need to knock down walls and do all this stuff, or is it as simple as securing the concrete on the floor, doing some painting, adding some light fixtures at the bar, and that's it. Or is it knocking down bars and doing all types of stuff. So it all depends. And with any sort of general contract type of work, different things are discovered. Sometimes the project is longer than expected. But we have an investor that we're working with right now, talking to. Going back and forth, talking about financials. We're talking on Thursday.
Okay.
He did a deep dive into our projections. Really smart guy. It made sense, a lot of questions he had. We're able to answer them. So, he's ready. He wants to go.
Okay.
But he wants to feel secure around the business plan, the financials. But ultimately, what he really wants is to know that, because we're getting a small percentage from him. Right, of our overall capital that we need. Okay. He wants to feel comfortable and feel confident that the bank is going to give us the rest of the project funding.
Got you.
So we're talking to a bank right now about an SBA.
Okay.
And we're waiting. We just submitted the application, so we'll see.
Okay.
So it's a waiting game.
Man.
It's so many emails and Zoom calls and telephone conversations. And waiting in the process, and like it's COVID season too, right? So, a process that maybe should take
less time,
takes 2 months, 3 months, to be drawn out.
Okay.
And banks are even tighter now. They're really tight. Their wallets are extra tight these days. Okay. So we got to see, man.
So in due time. In due time.
It's gonna be. I mean, I'm confident. My goal for 2021 is to, if I don't do anything else besides sell this beer, it's to secure funding and our location. Okay. That's my goal.
That's the goal.
Whether we break ground this year, it's a different story, but because I know as soon as we secure funding and a location, we're going to break ground pretty soon. But that's the goal.
So now, something I know about is when you're opening up a brick and mortar location, brick and mortar space, is that location matters too. Have you thought about where in the city or what preference would be?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're from West Philly. I know you're working out of was Northern Liberties and.
Yeah. I mean, location is huge, right? It's huge, but I always tell people Philly's still in this early stage of becoming one of the great major cities in this country. It really is.
Preach,
Like,
preach.
you know, we've always been this underdog
Yeah.
city, and I used to always be like, why? Why are we the underdog?
Yeah.
It's a dope city.
Yeah.
And, you know, I spent, you know, 11 years after I graduated college living in New York.
Yeah.
So I just came back to Philly in 2014, you know, and I came back to a bunch of changes. I basically left Philly for 15 years. Went off to college, I went to school in Atlanta,
Okay.
and then went to New York,
Okay.
and then came back here in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any of this transformation. I came back, and I was like, wait,
What's going on?
Wait, what and I'm like, wow, this is dope. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy to be in New York. This Philly is pretty dope. So location matters, but I feel like the city's just changing. I mean,
Yeah.
50th and Springfield, there's like this big apartment building going on.
Yeah.
It's like in a residential area. I'm like, what? It's a beautiful building.
Yeah.
So it's going, you know, it's being gentrified. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's, you know, good and bad.
Right.
But this city's on the come.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
agree.
opening up. So,
I agree.
You know, we want to be in West Philly. That's where we grew up. But you know, I take North Philly.
Yeah.
I be around here.
There's some, you know, this is another area too. You know, we've been here for 4 or 5 years. So my business partner Sekou, he's also my roommate too. And
His name's Sekou?
yeah, Sekou.
That's my middle child's middle name.
Oh wow.
That's my dad's first name.
Okay. Yeah, he's originally from Guinea.
Okay.
And but we've been roommates for over 4 years here, and this area's been going through a lot of gentrification too. But like, you know, there was actually a couple blocks down. They actually closed down. But like there was a brewery a couple blocks down from here, and but this is like a good location too.
The Crime and Punishment is over at what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's inevitable. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Right.
It's gonna change, and that's why like it's dope to see you doing your podcast.
Yeah.
But like if we have these ideas, we gotta go hard.
100%.
And try to secure, you know, our funding,
Yeah.
our location, and stay in these areas.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
don't want it to be a situation where 10, 20 years from now,
Yeah.
it's like, we should be a part of
Should have
this.
been in this.
We
Yeah.
should be a part of this. Like,
Yeah.
this city can't change, and us, Philly's like 40% black or something. 40%
Yeah.
black.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Black city.
Right.
We should be a part of this change. This
Definitely.
renaissance.
Definitely.
So,
So you know, we're rounding out the talk, and so we get into the tail end of things, and you were just talking about, let's say, Philly in the future, and something that we like to ask for our talks is if you know, it's kind of like the vision that you have for what you're working on. So that vision, that long-term vision for, say, Two Locals Brewing Company, or just in general when it comes to where you're looking to accomplish with this. I know there's also the social impact aspect of it too. If we're looking back on this talk 5 years from now, you know, what does this look like? You know, what does Two Locals Brewing Company look like?
5 years from now, Two Locals Brewing should, you know, better have a brick and mortar. But yeah, I mean, I want us to be, you know, the city's getting to know us. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're getting tons of publicity, but I want us to be, you know, well established within our community, be a
Okay.
part of our community. You know, we want to be able to do things like have block parties.
Yeah.
Two local block parties.
Yeah.
You know, where we provide food and drinks, and we do things within the community. You know, we do neighborhood cleanups. You know, we have stuff that's.
I'm gonna be honest. That is something that Philly could definitely use.
Right.
There's one thing about Philly. I'm gotta be honest. There's a trash problem that needs to change.
It needs to change.
That needs to change.
And I think it's, you know, the community's working with
Yeah.
those folks that are running the city.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta work together.
Yeah.
You know, to clean up the city.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I want to do kid-friendly events, family-friendly events, things like that. I want to be part of the community. You know, I hope that, you know, we can have, you know, multiple locations. You know, hopefully we get some Liberian food in there or something.
100%.
Whether it's a food truck or something, man.
Yeah.
You know, I want that in there. But I want it to also be like, when people come to Philly,
Yeah.
they want to go check out Two Locals.
Mm.
You know, it's also a tourist.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm from Philly. Oh, yeah, I heard about Two.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that's our plan. I'd like to get the beer out to more places.
Yeah.
Throughout the state. And hopefully, we're able to get beer out of state too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
cool. That's
the vision.
Yeah. And then just one other question. So you've been at this for 5 years now. You started in 2016, and you made the LLC 2018. You mentioned, but if you were, let's say, talking to the 2016 version of this, let's say, new venture, business owner, what advice would you have for that person as he's going into the, kind of going into this space, as far as like the kind of challenges you might deal with, the kind of roadblocks you might deal with, the good and the bad, with moving this forward?
I would say to do a deep dive. Go all in. When I say go all in, I'm not saying put all of your finances at risk and go broke.
Yeah.
But like just like mentally do a deep dive and do all the research you can.
Yeah.
Talk to as many people as you can. Like relationships are everything.
Yeah.
They really are. And it took me a long time, well into my adult life, to realize that.
Yeah.
Relationships mean a lot. So make those connections. Like, don't be shy. Even if you are shy, like I'm not a shy person, but I'm also not like the super outgoing, extroverted person. I'm like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But make those connections. Talk to as many people as you can in the industry, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like don't be too prideful. Like, if you make those connections, someone's like, yeah, give me, take my number, text me whenever.
Right.
They're not just saying that.
Right.
Text them whenever. You're doing your research. You had a question.
Yeah.
Call them. Pop up on them at the brewery or at their whatever industry you're in. Say hi. That's important.
Yeah. Okay.
And just don't give up. If this is something that you want and you love it. Because the minute you give up, you might have been really close to getting it. You might have.
Could have been. Yeah, right there.
Could have been right there.
Yeah.
But also, like, are you having fun? Do you enjoy it? Because if you're not having fun, then, and like, there's been stressful moments.
Yeah.
I can't lie. And there's gonna be stressful moments, but at the end of the day, when you sit back and you're like evaluating how things are going, are you still enjoying it?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. I love it. I love creating, what we create, what we'll continue to create. We're gonna do a couple more beers.
Yeah.
And we have more beers, lined up that we'd like to do. I love the craft. It's fun. So have fun with it.
And I think that part is so important because you mentioned earlier about how there's always that next thing. Like you always want to take it further. You're always kind of looking for like the next, that next milestone. And when you're someone who's ambitious too, it can be easy to get caught up in, we're trying to get to X, but we gotta remember to enjoy the process of what you're going through, and because the reality is, it's the day to day, and it's what's going on now that is really everything, because like that, even when you get to that next milestone, that's going to be the now at that time, so I think that's so important, to kind of keep things in perspective too, as on that journey, and you kind of bring that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
process, which again, like pandemic was a gift and a curse, but it's actually a gift because it made us get even deeper into the process. And now that we got beer out, like Rich and I are a two-man show. We're doing sales. We're doing deliveries. Like the intricacies of the business. If we were up and running, we would have to learn that. And now we're learning it before we can get into the brick and mortar.
Right.
So when we get there, we know exactly who to hire and what this process is supposed to be like.
Right.
Instead of learning on the go.
Right.
I'd love to be in there,
right,
but it's actually a blessing that we're learning now through this process.
Right. Have anything for the people before we close out?
I appreciate the support that we're getting in the city. We're getting a lot of love. People are showing a lot of love. Everyone from all demographics. But yeah, I mean, we're prideful and we're proud of being from Philadelphia. We're proud of West African, West Indian descent. And we want to make the city proud. We want to represent our culture. And when this brick and mortar is open, please come in, check it out. Yeah. There's a lot that I think you'll see in a brewery that you'll be like, wow, I love it. I want to go to a brewery. I don't necessarily want to go in a bar. Yeah. The brewery is cool. Right. But yeah. Okay. Check out Two Locals. We're on IG. Okay. We're on Facebook. TwoLocalsBrewing.com is where you can buy, Two Locals products. So yeah. Check us out. Support. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the show. As I mentioned, I'd already tried the Prolific before meeting you guys, and I was saying we definitely had to get you on Pepper Soup Talk because we love what you're doing, and we see I see where this is going and the vision for it, and we'd love to also see the Liberian cuisine to get into it somewhere down the line too. But we'll be rooting for it for sure. This is Pepe Soup Talk. We're here bi-weekly on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely stay in tune with Two Locals Brewing Company, and we look forward to seeing where they go.
Appreciate it.